Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so glad you've joined me today. If you're over 60 or you have loved ones who are, today's topic is going to be incredibly important for your health and well-being. We're talking about one of the most loved foods in the world, cheese. Yes, cheese. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Doctor, please don't take away my cheese. Don't worry. I'm not here to ruin your favorite meals. In fact, my goal is the opposite. I want to show you how to enjoy cheese in a way that strengthens your body, protects your heart, and keeps you active and healthy as you age. But here's the truth. Not all cheeses are created equal, especially once we cross the age of 60. Some cheeses can actually harm your heart, your bones, and even your brain health. On the other hand, certain types of cheese can be powerful allies, giving you calcium, protein, probiotics, and essential vitamins that your body needs more than ever. So today, we're going to dive into the 4 worst cheeses you should never touch after 60, and the 4 best cheeses you should include daily or at least regularly to keep yourself strong and vibrant. I'll also give you simple, practical tips on how to make swaps, how much cheese is actually healthy, and some delicious ways to enjoy the good kinds without feeling deprived. Let's get started. Before we jump into the list, let me set the stage for why this is so important. As we age, our nutritional needs change. After 60, most people need fewer calories but more high-quality nutrients. Muscle mass declines, bone density weakens, and the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and memory issues increases. Every bite of food counts more than ever. Cheese is interesting because it's both loved and feared. Loved because it's delicious, comforting, and part of so many family traditions. Feared because it's often high in saturated fat and salt, which can be dangerous if we're not careful. But here's the truth. Cheese doesn't have to be the enemy. In fact, the right cheese in the right amount can become your best friend. The key is knowing which ones to avoid and which ones to embrace. So let's begin with the 4 you should absolutely stay away from after 60. The first one on the never touch list is processed cheese slices and spreads. You know the ones I'm talking about, those individually wrapped, bright yellow slices or those squeezable cheese spreads in jars. These are not real cheese. They're made from a combination of cheese byproducts, vegetable oils, artificial colors, preservatives, and a shocking amount of sodium. Why are they so harmful for seniors? First, the sodium. Just 2 slices can contain over 600 milligrams of salt, which is nearly a third of the daily limit for someone trying to protect their heart and kidneys. High sodium intake raises blood pressure, damages blood vessels, and increases the risk of heart attack and stroke. Second, the additives. At this stage of life, your body doesn't process artificial ingredients as efficiently. That means more stress on your liver and kidneys. Third, there's very little real nutrition. You're not getting the protein, calcium, or probiotics of real cheese. You're just getting empty calories that can make you gain weight and increase your cholesterol. So my advice, skip the fake, processed slices. If you want cheese on your sandwich, go for a thin slice of natural cheese like Swiss or mozzarella instead. You'll enjoy the flavor and protect your health at the same time. The second cheese you should avoid after 60 is blue cheese and other mole, ripened cheeses like Roquefort or Gorgonzola. Now, I know some of you love the strong flavor of blue cheese on your salad or your steak. But here's the issue. These cheeses are very high in saturated fat and sodium, and the mold used in aging them can be a problem for older adults. Some seniors develop weakened immune systems as they age. That makes you more vulnerable to infections, including foodborne ones. Mole, ripened cheeses are more likely to harbor bacteria like Listeria, which can cause serious illness in older adults. On top of that, the high sodium content can trigger blood pressure spikes, and the heavy fat content adds unnecessary strain on your arteries. So while blue cheese might taste gourmet, the risks after 60 outweigh the benefits. If you're craving bold flavor in your salad, try sprinkling a few walnuts or adding a squeeze of lemon juice instead. You'll still get a kick of flavor without the risks. The third type of cheese to steer clear of is cream cheese. Yes, I know bagels and cream cheese may be a beloved breakfast staple, but here's the truth. Cream cheese is not really a cheese in the nutritional sense. It's more like a spread made of mostly fat. 2 tablespoons of cream cheese give you about 10 grams of fat, with the majority being saturated fat, but almost no protein, no calcium, and no beneficial probiotics. It's basically empty calories with very little benefit for your bones or muscles. And remember, after 60, protein and calcium are two of the nutrients you need most to maintain muscle strength and bone density. Cream cheese won't help you there. So instead of spreading cream cheese on your bagel, try cottage cheese or ricotta. Both are lower in fat, higher in protein, and provide real nutritional value. Plus, they taste delicious with fruit or a drizzle of honey. And the fourth cheese to avoid is cheese made from raw or unpasteurized milk. This one is important, and not enough people talk about it. Some specialty cheeses, like certain versions of brie, camembert, or goat cheese, are made with raw, unpasteurized milk. These can contain dangerous bacteria like Listeria, Salmonella, or E. coli. Younger people with strong immune systems can often handle small exposures, but after 60, your immune defenses aren't as strong, and your digestive system is more sensitive. That means an infection from contaminated cheese can become very serious, very quickly. So always check the label. If it says made with raw milk or unpasteurized, it's best to leave it on the shelf. Stick to pasteurized cheeses, which are much safer and still taste great. So, to quickly recap, the 4 cheeses to stay away from after 60 are processed cheese slices and spreads, blue cheese and mold-ripened cheeses, cream cheese, raw milk or unpasteurized cheeses. Avoiding these will help protect your heart, your bones, your digestive system, and your overall health. Now, before you feel discouraged, let me share some good news. There are also 4 cheeses that are truly beneficial for you. So beneficial, in fact, that I encourage you to eat them daily, or at least several times a week. These cheeses give you the nutrients you need in the right balance to stay strong and active after 60. All right, now that we've gone through the cheeses you should stay away from, let's shift to the exciting part, the cheeses that can actually help you stay strong, protect your heart, and support your bones and brain after 60. These are the 4 best cheeses for seniors, and when eaten in the right portions, they can truly be part of a healthy, balanced diet. Let's start with the first one. The first cheese I highly recommend for older adults is cottage cheese. Now, I know cottage cheese has a reputation. Some people love it, others aren't too sure about the texture. But trust me, if you're over 60, this is one of the best cheeses you can put on your plate. Why? Let's look at the benefits. Cottage cheese is packed with high-quality protein, which is essential for maintaining muscle mass. After 60, muscle naturally begins to decline in a process called sarcopenia. The more protein you can get from healthy sources, the better your chances of staying strong and independent. Just 1 cup of cottage cheese contains about 25 grams of protein. That's nearly half the daily protein needs of many older adults in a single serving. But it doesn't stop there. Cottage cheese is also an excellent source of calcium, which helps keep your bones dense and resistant to fractures. Add in its phosphorus and B vitamins, and you've got a food that supports energy, metabolism, and even brain health. Another huge advantage, cottage cheese is relatively low in fat compared to harder cheeses, making it easier on your heart. And if you're worried about salt, there are low sodium versions available in most grocery stores. How can you enjoy it? The possibilities are endless. You can pair cottage cheese with fresh fruit like berries or peaches for a refreshing breakfast. Spread it on whole grain toast instead of cream cheese. Or mix it into salads for extra protein. If you've avoided cottage cheese in the past because of its texture, give it another try. Blend it until smooth and use it as a base for dips or even in smoothies. You'll be amazed at how versatile it is. The second cheese that seniors should eat regularly is ricotta cheese. Ricotta is another soft, creamy cheese, but it's a nutritional powerhouse in its own right. It's made from whey, the liquid leftover from making other cheeses, which means it's rich in whey protein, one of the most easily absorbed and beneficial proteins for your muscles. For seniors, whey protein is especially valuable. It helps preserve lean body mass, reduces muscle breakdown, and even supports recovery after exercise or physical therapy. But ricotta doesn't stop at protein. It's also rich in calcium and vitamin D, which, when combined, are the perfect duo for bone health. This is crucial because after 60, bones naturally thin and the risk of osteoporosis rises. Another benefit of ricotta, it's easier to digest compared to some harder cheeses. Many older adults develop some degree of lactose intolerance, but ricotta is naturally lower in lactose, making it gentler on the stomach. How can you use it? Ricotta is incredibly versatile. You can spread it on whole, grain toast with a drizzle of honey, stir it into pasta dishes, or even use it in healthy desserts. A dollop of ricotta with fresh berries can make a nutrient-rich, satisfying treat that feels indulgent without being harmful. In fact, if you're looking for a healthier swap for cream cheese or heavy cream in recipes, ricotta often works beautifully. You get creaminess without the negative health effects. The third cheese on the must-have list is part skim mozzarella. Mozzarella is one of the most popular cheeses in the world, but not all mozzarella is created equal. Full fat versions can be heavy in saturated fat, but part skim mozzarella offers all the flavor and nutrition with much less fat and fewer calories. Why is mozzarella such a great choice for seniors? First, it's rich in protein and calcium, just like cottage cheese and ricotta, but it also contains probiotics, especially when you buy fresh mozzarella. Probiotics are beneficial bacteria that support your gut health, and gut health is closely linked to immunity, digestion, and even brain function. Second, mozzarella is lower in sodium compared to many other cheeses, making it friendlier for your heart and blood pressure. And third, mozzarella is extremely versatile. You can slice it onto sandwiches, melt it on vegetables, or enjoy it with tomatoes and basil in a fresh capre salad. It's satisfying, but it won't overload your body with salt and saturated fat. One tip: if you buy string cheese snacks made with part skim mozzarella, they're a great portion, controlled way to enjoy cheese without overdoing it. Each stick gives you protein and calcium in just the right amount. And the fourth cheese I recommend for seniors is Parmesan cheese, but in moderation. Parmesan is a hard, aged cheese, and just a little goes a long way. What makes Parmesan unique is that it's very dense in nutrients. Just 1 ounce contains about 10 grams of protein and nearly a third of your daily calcium needs. Because it's aged, Parmesan is naturally very low in lactose, making it much easier to digest for people who are sensitive to dairy. It's also packed with phosphorus, vitamin B12, and zinc, all nutrients that support energy, immunity, and bone strength. The only drawback with Parmesan is that it is salty. That's why I recommend using it as a flavor enhancer rather than eating large amounts. Sprinkle a tablespoon over vegetables, soups, or whole grain pasta, and you'll add amazing flavor with very little sodium overall. Think of Parmesan like a natural seasoning. It adds richness without needing heavy sauces or too much salt. So, to summarize, the 4 cheeses I encourage seniors to enjoy regularly are cottage cheese, ricotta cheese, part skim mozzarella, Parmesan cheese in moderation. These cheeses provide protein, calcium, probiotics, and vitamins that directly support the challenges of aging, preserving muscle, protecting bones, and keeping your digestive and immune systems strong. Now, let's talk about something very important. How much cheese should you actually eat? It's easy to get carried away, especially when cheese is so delicious. But remember, cheese is concentrated. A healthy serving is about 1 ounce, or the size of 2 dice. For softer cheeses like ricotta or cottage cheese, it's about half a cup. For most seniors, aiming for 1 to 2 servings of cheese per day is ideal. That way, You get the benefits without overloading your system with calories or fat. And always balance cheese with other healthy foods. Pair it with vegetables, whole grains, or fruits instead of processed crackers or white bread. That way, you turn cheese into part of a nourishing, balanced meal. I also want to address one concern I hear often from patients. Doctor, I've heard cheese is bad for cholesterol. Should I avoid it completely? Here's the truth. While some cheeses are high in saturated fat, research shows that moderate amounts of healthy cheese, like the ones we just discussed, do not raise cholesterol levels the way other fatty foods do. In fact, some studies suggest that dairy fats in cheese may behave differently in the body than butter or processed fats. The key is moderation and choosing wisely. The worst cheeses, like processed slices or heavy cream cheese, are the ones that raise your risk. But the best cheeses, especially when paired with a healthy diet, can actually help keep you strong and nourished. So now we've covered the good and the bad. But how do you put this knowledge into action in your daily life? Now that we've looked at the cheeses you should avoid and the ones that can actually help you thrive, let's make this practical. Because knowledge without action doesn't change your health. Putting it into practice does. So let's talk about how to shop, how to store, and how to enjoy cheese in a way that truly supports your body after 60. When you head to the grocery store, the first thing you'll notice is that there are hundreds of cheese options. It can be overwhelming, but if you know what to look for, making the right choice becomes simple. Here are a few tips I share with my patients. First, always read the label. Look at the nutrition facts. Check the serving size, the saturated fat content, and the sodium level. As a general rule, try to keep sodium under 200 milligrams per serving and saturated fat under 3 grams per ounce. Second, look for simple ingredients. The best cheeses are made from just a few things: milk, salt, and cultures. If you see a long list of preservatives, colorings, or chemicals, that's a red flag. Third, choose fresh or minimally processed varieties. Fresh mozzarella, ricotta, cottage cheese. These tend to be better choices compared to heavily processed slices or spreads. Fourth, watch the portion size. Remember, an ounce is about the size of 2 dice. It's easy to eat much more without realizing it, especially when cheese is shredded or melted. Fifth, when possible, look for low-fat or part-skim versions. These often provide the same protein and calcium with less saturated fat. And one more important point: quality matters more than quantity. You don't need a huge plate of cheese every day. A small amount of high-quality cheese will give you far more health benefits than a large amount of cheap, processed cheese.